Hey people, my name is Ben Crawshaw, and I want to talk to you real quick about What Happens When You Serve. What Happens When You Serve is a book that comes from Rocket Publishing, and I want to tell you about it really quickly. But first, let's be honest, okay? Sunday morning is impossible without volunteers. It's simply impossible to carry out all the tasks from children's ministry, from the parking team, stewardship team, host, greeters, information table, people behind the scenes, tech people, volunteer musicians, volunteer people who are on stage at your church Sunday morning. It's just impossible without volunteers. And none of us have the budget to hire staff positions for everything. We don't have a staff position, we don't have the budget for a full-time guest services position, a full-time technical director, a full-time stewardship financial team director, full-time. We don't have the budget to hire. Think about having full-time staff positions in every area of your children's ministry. We just don't have the budget for that. But even if we did, we'd still want people to experience the joy of serving. So think about that. Even if we had the budget, we would still want to give people the opportunity to demonstrate servant leadership because it's so powerful for them. Developing great volunteers is about developing a great volunteer culture. So serving, having opportunities for people to serve, it's not just a program that you offer, it is part of the church culture. And that's the way you develop just great volunteers. You think about sports organizations that they just consistently win. They have a culture of winning. It's not just like, oh, we're going out hoping to win games. There is a culture, a reputation. There's this feeling of, if you're a part of this, this is a winning culture. The same thing can be said for volunteering. You want this to be a volunteer culture. Culture is the momentum of volunteer ministry. It's really what gets the ball rolling. And I'm going to give a few quick examples as to what that looks like. Number one is communication. It's important that people understand what it means to be a volunteer, what you expect out of them, when you want them to show up. You're not throwing a bunch of surprises at them. That you understand, you have respect for their schedule, that they have a lot going on. So you want to clearly communicate when and where and what that looks like. It's compassion. Compassion is putting yourself in their shoes, understanding what they're going through and what they're doing as volunteers, which expresses itself in gratitude. Are you treating your current volunteers in a way that could potentially make people who aren't serving jealous? Have you gotten into your shoes and recognized that they're busy, they have a lot going on, and they are dedicating some of their precious time to help this ministry that you're involved in move the ball down the field? So are you treating them in a way that if people don't serve, they're like, you know what, man, they really get a lot of love and appreciation and gratitude. Man, I'm kind of jealous. That's just a great way to recruit people, is express gratitude. Community. You want to set your volunteer culture up where volunteers, servant leaders, can develop relationships with other servant leaders. It's what I tell people, it's a great way to get connected at a church is serve alongside other people. You'll get to know them better. Pastoral care. This is understanding that your volunteers, they have issues going on with their marriages, their families, their kids, their finances, their health. And as someone who recruited them, or they are a volunteer leader under your ministry area that you're responsible for, you are a shepherd over them. And so you want to know what's going on in their life, follow up, care about them, and then more gratitude. Keep pouring it on, people. What Happens When You Serve is the book that helps you express gratitude, and it also helps you cast a bigger vision than fulfilling a role. You are not a helper, you are a partner, okay? It connects serving to God's movement in changing the world. It invites people to be a part of something much bigger than themselves or their volunteer position. This is not just about babysitting kids in a preschool. This is not just about a parking team. This is about something much bigger, and What Happens When You Serve lets people know that. In addition, this book is a great way of expressing gratitude to your current servant leaders. More than saying thank you once, What Happens When You Serve helps you create a culture of appreciation. This is a great resource that will not only appreciate people who currently serve, but it will also inspire people who don't, because you're beginning to create a culture through What Happens When You Serve. And culture is the momentum of volunteer ministry. So make sure you check it out. You give it to people who are serving in every different area of every different area of servant leadership in your church, as a way of saying thank you and as a way of casting a bigger vision than just fulfilling a role. Thanks, guys.